What's going on, Colts Nation? I appreciate you joining me for another video where today we're going to talk about the Colts against the Bills. This one's pretty obvious. Post-game, doing this a little later than I would have hoped. Had some family matters to attend to. But nonetheless, wanted to get to this today while it's fresh on the mind. And I mean, just how we've looked just hasn't been the standard. Obviously, we all had higher hopes coming into the season. We hoped that we would, a very young team from last year could take a step forward this year with Anthony Richardson leading the way in that, and that we could be competitive with anybody, right? Those were the ceiling, right? I don't know if we were ever going to be honestly a Super Bowl team, but I thought we'd be more competitive than we are. And I guess, right, the only game where it wasn't a one-score game was this game against the Bills, the only two-score game we've played this year. Everything else, technically close. Last week against the Vikings really wasn't that. This game really was 30-13. We got a garbage time touchdown, throw it up to Alec Pierce. I don't know why we're waiting all day to throw it up to Alec Pierce. He could have done that on the 4th and 2, right? He could have done that. What was it? 3rd and 11 after the penalty from the 12-yard line. And I believe take a sack on that one, whatever the case is. We end up with a field goal on that drive, like a couple different points. You could just throw it up to Alec Pierce if that's what you're comfortable doing into the end zone. Right, you have to have Josh Downs, who's been our best receiver, dropping a wide open pass that would have been an easy walk-in touchdown. Man, it's just leaving points out there, then giving them points, right? 7 points off rip. I mean, 7-0 first pass of the game. And then after that, right, A.D. Mitchell fumbles, but luckily we get it back. And seemingly A.D. Mitchell after that had a really good game. Give him that. He had a very good game. Definitely his best game as a pro. Still working on cleaning some stuff up. Still a little sloppy out there, but he's starting to figure it out and learning from game to game, which is nice. And we really saw him having production with Michael Pittman Jr. out. Was really good to see. Seeing Alec Pierce get the ball in his hands in different kinds of situations is good to see. Like these guys, that's what makes this such a difficult conversation, because just know that in the description there is a link for Green Gridiron where you can get mini helmets or authentic NFL helmets. Okay, and make sure to use the discount code INDSYN at checkout and use that referral code down in the description so that they know I sent you. Okay, so again, go to the description. Holiday season coming up. Mini helmets, mini helmet accessories, helmet accessories, whatever the case may be. You want it for you, your man cave, a loved one, whatever the case is. Mini helmets and authentic NFL helmets can be found on Green Gridiron. The link in the description. Again, that is code INDSYN for the discount code. I appreciate you stopping by. And now let's get into the video. It seems like there are different points on the team where the coaching is working, right? Which, you have Reggie Wayne in the building talking to these young receivers, right? They're hanging on his every word because of who he is. Naturally, the receivers are going to be great. It seems like we have some tough guys at receiver, which is great. And they're able to do their thing as they continue to develop, which is a great sign to see. You also have the offensive line. Starters, backups, very good. Obviously not perfect. They definitely have flaws. Braden Smith continuing to get penalties, just as like Dion Dawkins. Like those are two guys that, pretty good at what they do, but boy, they will cost you a lot of points because of how many. Dion Dawkins gets a lot of false starts. You have Braden Smith getting false starts and illegal formation penalties. And those kinds of things hurt, man. Penalties at the wrong time will kill a drive. It'll cost you points. It cost us at least 4 points in this game that I can just think of off the top of my head. At least 4 points. Penalties cost us in this game. Turnovers cost us, 17 points? Am I right? 17 points off turnovers, I think it was. I actually have the stats here. Why don't I just go ahead and see? They got points off turnovers somewhere on here, I would imagine. Turnovers, we had 4 turnovers. Nah, somehow, some way, they actually don't have that stat on here. That's kind of crazy. Yeah, no. And I mean, time of possession, we did better than we normally do. That was almost 50-50. We had 361 total yards of offense. And just you can't spot teams' points. You can't turn the ball over 4 times. Now, the hit from behind was more Mac and Savez, and he got beat quickly. Joe Flacco was getting the ball out of his hands in like a second and a half. He just didn't have the time, right? You got to give your quarterback 2.5 seconds at the least. I actually just saw the replay of it here on the site that I'm looking at for these stats, and but still, 4 total turnovers from Joe Flacco's hand today. And I mean, that's really the difference. Is just we're beating ourselves. We're beating ourselves. We're undisciplined, and the work ethic isn't there. Which brings me to what Kenny Moore said. Just as I was going to record this, I had seen what Kenny Moore said, and I thought either I have to find a way to fit this into the conversation. I can't see this and not play it for you guys. So I don't know about playing the video, but I do want to go ahead and play you the audio from Twitter. So let me make the switch here. Let's boom, 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 just like that, and then
I don't think everybody is working as hard as possible, and obviously it's showing. I'm not the type to sugarcoat it, honestly. If I don't think the urgency is there. I don't think the details are there, so I don't think the effort is there, and I don't see everything correlating from meetings to practice to the games, and it shows.
As one of the leaders of the team, what do you do to kind of get things sparked for everybody?
You got to define yourself. You got to define the identity of the team. We got to look ourselves in the mirror and ask ourselves how bad we want it. And honestly, just change. Turn in the page whenever we look at the corrections and everything tomorrow. And I think the thing that's back to your question, the thing that's frustrating is you're letting things leak into another week. Whatever it was last week, you're as great as your last performance. But once we step out on the field again, you got the opportunity to, change that narrative. So, but to go out and do the same mistakes over and over is, I think that's what drives me insane as a player. Individually, that's what drives me insane because at the beginning of the season, we all said that week 1 is going to be week 1. The September is going to be September, but we got to do our best to be better as the season progresses. And we are in November, and I just don't see us making that jump, from September to November. I'm saying the same thing. So I think a lot of things we just got to start addressing it and not sugarcoat or beat around the bush. I think that's what we are lacking, and honestly, it's just year to year, it's the same thing.
So that right there is not what you want to hear midway through the season. And this is something with the way this season's gone, man. All the equity that Shane Steichen had, he's lost, right? And this is what I've been talking about a little bit about not having the right people. You're getting these high character guys, which is cool. These are great members of society, do a lot for the community, which is incredible. You want that with the people that you're going to be drafting, and that's like really probably one of the requirements in the contract is doing so much, right? So at the end of the day, it's great to have those guys. Hey, bro, you need more dogs. These dudes aren't working hard enough. What is that? So then what are the coaches doing? Like this is that for all the I want to sit here and defend Shane. I think he's a good coach. I thought he was a good coach, and he's had success offensively in the past. And the guys on the field have to execute 100%, but his play calling has been so up and down. And obviously, the way he handled the Anthony Richardson situation, which I'm not going to shy away from the fact I had a video. The thumbnail said it was the right decision. Like, I still believe it was the right decision to sit him. But I think, as you sit him and you come out and say, Joe gives us the best chance to win, you're still saying that we're not winning. The offense looks worse than it did with Anthony. We're not putting up points. Even if Anthony is a little bit different, right? Even with Joe Flacco, the offense is inconsistent. But when the offense does go, they're good drives, efficient drives, running the ball, throwing the ball, and just efficiency, but it's few and far between when that's actually happening, right? Which is a massive problem. Whereas with Anthony, You're going to get big plays, run game, pass game. You're going to get the big plays. It's just going to be hard with Anthony for a little while to sustain the offense. And it's just the season's been so disappointing. And we dropped to 4-6 now. After week 10, 4-6, bye week still a few weeks away. Next game, 1:00 in MetLife. Supposed to be Sunday night, but we got kicked off Sunday night because we were so bad on Sunday night football when they flexed us into it, and it'll be interesting. Shane, I listened to Shane's press conference after the game, and when asked about does Joe Flacco still give you the best chance to win? Do you still believe that? And he says, oh yeah, I still believe that. Da da da. But in the other questions he was asked, like, talking about, hey, I'll go back and look at everything and make an evaluation. Like, sounds like he's not exactly fully committed to Joe Flacco. So that might be the silver lining. Maybe we get Anthony back. It's time. Because, again, like, the way things have gone, it's like it didn't go the way you thought it would. As the leader, you got to be able to take that L. You got to now hold yourself accountable for the way things have gone this season, for the way things have gone since Anthony got benched, the way things have gone the whole way around, right? From what Kenny Moore's talking about, the people aren't working hard enough, so they're not putting in the work enough to be successful. That's leadership. Where's the leadership on the team that's going to hold everybody accountable to be able to do that? What's going to happen going forward, and who's going to step up, right? This is Kenny. Kenny doesn't say anything. And Kenny just very publicly shamed the entire team for not working as hard as they possibly can. So what are the coaches going to do to respond to this and get their players to respond? One of the things a lot of people are saying, hey, this team doesn't come into games prepared to play. It shows up on tape. The fans see it. And at some point as coaches, you have to get them ready to play. Offensively, that's not happening. Defensively, which was a major issue to start the season. Now we give up 30 points, but you turn the ball over 4 times. Like, defense can only do so much, right? That 30 points, and plus defense only gave up 23 of those, but still turnovers, right? There are 3 other turnovers that factor into that. And so defense been doing their thing, really. They've been okay. They're not incredible. They're not perfect. Very bend, don't break, but they've been better. And then you look at the offense, man, and the offense is the one I had high hopes for. Now that we're deep at receiver, we have Anthony Richardson, we have a good offensive line, we have Jonathan Taylor, and Shane Steichen last year winning 9 games with the combination of a little bit of Anthony Richardson, mostly Gardner Minshew, Jonathan Taylor in and out of the lineup last year, all the different pieces, right? The offensive line injuries that had happened, defensive injuries, and overcoming all the obstacles last year. And the offense still being as good as the offense was able to be. And it gave all of us hope going forward. Like, hey, yeah, this is the guy. You're able to win 9 games with this team? Yeah, you're the guy, right? And now, it all comes back also to Chris Ballard, right? And being able to build this team. Hey, this roster is mostly the same. It has been for a while now. Like, that's the thing. At some point, and people are right. All the people that said, hey, when everybody was talking about accountability for Anthony Richardson, right? When I was talking about accountability for Anthony Richardson, and there were plenty of people that were in the comments saying, hey, Shane Steichen need to be accountable. Chris Ballard need to be accountable, right? The coaches need to be accountable, and Gus, and I don't disagree. I actually had said in the videos talking about Anthony how it wasn't all his fault. The coaches got to do their part. The rest of the offense has to do their part. We as a team are not executing on the offensive side of the ball, and it's costing us football games. It's making life harder for the defense, and the quietest, most least outspoken person on the team is now speaking out against the fact that people aren't working hard enough. That is tremendously embarrassing as a team. Coaches are not going to like that. That's public. Well, what are they going to do? They're going to just come out and disagree with one of the leaders of the team, right? Kenny captain, right? I'm pretty sure Kenny's a captain. Am I wrong there? If he's not, he probably should be. Kenny, this is just certainly not how I envision the season to go. Certainly not how any of you envision this season to go. just not ideal. It'll be interesting to see, hey, do we get Anthony back? Are we going to get Anthony back? We'll see what happens. Of course, there'll be a Monday press conference, and we'll see just how committed he is to Joe Flacco, or if there's going to be an open competition type of deal, and we'll see. Hey, and that seems kind of reasonable, right? You pull Anthony, help get confidence back, I guess. Have a little competition. Hey, go win your job back with the expectation he's probably going to do good enough in practice to win his job back, and everybody wants him to, and we'll be a little amped up. So, yeah, we'll keep things updated. Make sure you're subscribed with notifications on so you continue to get notified anytime we have any more content coming out on the channel. Of course, I appreciate you taking some time coming by the channel, and as always, take care of yourself, take care of each other, and go Colts.